You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Hello there. Obi-Wan Kenobi here, or James Arnold Taylor, either one. Take your pick. And this is the Cantina Club. This is the show you're looking for. Don't move along. Stay here. Good stuff. Goodbye then.
We all know around here, Solo always does shots first. Singing yo no, raise your glass and sing yo no. Sing it with me, yo no. At the Cantina Club.
All right, let's go.
All right, guys, we are back, and we're going to do a reaction to episode 5 or part 5 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're going to do a reaction and then do our recap like we normally do. So we are all queued up and ready to go. Everybody ready for the countdown? All right,
Sure.
3, 2, 1, play.
Oh.
Okay, that's interesting.
So we're gonna revisit Order 66.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Yeah.
Talk of a secret network. Child and an old man. Was it worth it?
Old man.
So
We should have a drinking game and have to take a shot every time they say old man.
What happened? Surely we're smarter than this.
Apparently not.
We're smarter than this. Oh, got new droids.
Yeah. They had those last time.
All right, Mr. Slate, Snooty Pants.
Is that a Mickey Mouse droid?
Oh yeah, I saw those last time. I already have the figures.
I'm way cooler than you. Uh-oh.
Flashback, yeah!
Flashback finally.
Oh, that was inside his helmet.
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Nice.
finally. That was great. Oh.
Yeah.
Back
to
the main
reality.
story. The main story. Uh-oh. Darth Vader telling you to kneel.
Yeah.
It's either death or a promotion.
Boy, you
Right.
get granted. You fail upwards at this job.
Yeah, you do.
We leave for Jabim at once.
See, now she's close to Vader. I just think that's what she's been after the whole time.
I think so too.
suspect that too. Yeah.
Honor. Otherwise, why would it be? She said it's an honor to be invited on board.
Yeah.
Obviously, only a select few. He doesn't go on Inquisitor camp outings, over a weekend with them.
She doesn't defeat an enemy, Master. Which is why you're gonna lose.
Oh my.
Why didn't they have that scene in Attack of the Clones? I've been asking that for 20 years.
I don't know how long it's gonna hold. We got a plan B here?
We're going to have to slow them down.
Yeah, you go out there and tell her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the guy turning around. Tell the Inquisitor. Somebody go out there and tell the Inquisitor.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
oh my.
I can see why they put a trigger warning.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because we want the same thing.
Do we? Do you really want Anakin dead?
But your prediction was right, Greedo.
Great question.
Damn. I'm sorry, but no.
Yeah.
The mosh pit with troopers isn't a good idea for you guys. You missed your chance, dummy. What are you doing?
Really?
That's the best you got? Oh, not even deigning to take out his saber.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice. The inertia method. Oh, okay. There you go. Not even using both your blades. It's not smart. You're attacking the air, dummy. That's not gonna work. You think he's afraid of a ceiling fan? Get out of your mind.
Oh, I love it.
Break it. Yeah. Oh.
The contempt.
Wow.
You notice how there's always an ad for Grand Inquisitor in the paper? Seems to be a lot of turnover in that job. Oh. Oh, nice.
Wow.
He's just being mean now.
Handed it over to Dr. Afra. Come on.
Yeah.
Let 000 handle her.
Oh my. That's harsh.
Understand any of this? It's only a flesh wound. She's getting better.
Are you okay?
This was the reason we had no communications, Bale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Bale just dropping knowledge left and right.
Yeah.
You know, I'll visit Owen Laws at 12:13.
Yeah, isn't his address
Moisture
1217?
Way. You know, the 5th most productive moisture farmer outside of Mos Eisley, 2 clicks to the southeast. But I'm sure you remember where you left Anakin's son.
Son of Anakin
Exactly.
Skywalker.
You know, the one they called Luke.
Yeah. Just so we're clear,
Oh.
not Leia, his daughter.
Oh.
Oh, speaking of.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
Wow, yeah, now we're
Some
talking.
episode.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. I feel so much better.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
I mean, still, the just crazy plot holes
The
that they
plot
can't
holes
seem to
were
figure
bad.
out. They make no, they pull me out of it every time, but still, that was good.
Yeah, that was much, much better.
What would Anakin do if he knew he was endangering his children with all this?
That is an interesting question.
Yeah, that's interesting to think.
I mean, you know, because
Um,
they haven't brought up Padme, which I thought was a little surprising, because isn't there a story that Vader was trying to bring her back from the dead during this
like in
time
comics
period?
or something?
A
Yeah.
comic story, yeah. I think
I
it was
don't
in
know.
the Darth Vader series, wasn't it? The recent Darth
Yeah.
Vader.
He was going into the whole secrets, this only the Sith knew thing.
Yeah.
Trying to bring her back.
Oh, I liked that one a lot better.
All right, thoughts?
I really enjoyed that, except for
Yeah.
well, some of it dragged.
Which is
But
crazy, isn't it? How could it
yeah,
drag
how could it?
when all this is going on? But
It's just the whole thing has been a little too much filler. The series been too long. A lot of
yeah,
it could have been cut to be tighter. But
Almost made into a movie
yeah, really, I think it's almost like they took the movie content and
concept
just
and added
stretched it
about
out. Yeah,
3.5 hours to it. Yeah.
yeah. But the scenes with Hayden and Ewan were wonderful.
Yeah.
The Vader and Obi-Wan confrontation was great. And I really loved the Reva and Obi-Wan interaction through the door and then later.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Ewan McGregor
that made
like
me feel for her
carrying it.
character for the first time.
Yeah.
Right.
I was invested in her character for the first time, that she finally came out, was honest about something, you know.
Yeah.
And we were, you know, I feel like they kind of did. It was one of the possibilities, and I guessed it, but maybe they could have been a little more open about that from the beginning. But I wasn't sure. I thought maybe the younglings got away, and they were all going to be in different parts of the story, or I don't know, you know, like,
Yeah.
but no,
That
I can
was
see
brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal, and they're addressing that legacy, which is a tough way to go.
Yeah. And that's
In
something
the
we never
current
saw.
environment.
The movies couldn't do that. They couldn't bring
No.
themselves in the films to show that. And
And
live with-
Vader is still very much a monster. I mean,
yeah. I mean, to throw that in her face and then
yeah,
kill her that way, or not
Yeah.
even had the contempt of not even caring if she died or lived.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
there was no sense he had any regret whatsoever.
Oh,
Like,
none. Yeah.
I'm just finishing the loop that I should have done back then.
Right. I should have finished this 10 years ago. Yeah.
What about
Ouch,
the
damn.
saber? What about the saber fighting? I loved the duel
Much better.
between
Oh, that
her
was
and
great.
Vader. I
Yeah.
loved him fighting initially entirely without the saber. That was wonderful.
I
That
feel
was
like
really
I
cool,
feel like
yeah.
on a TV show, that's the kind of thing we're gonna get. And they've really, it was not great before, and now it's like, this is at least good enough to be entertaining and engaging, and believe you're still in that with those characters from the prequels and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Before
Right.
it was getting a little dicey, like especially and I'm not criticizing her, but the stunts they did with Reva, to me, looked so awkward, you know, like something was off about all of them. And
Like the
it's way
parkour
they-
stuff.
The parkour,
yeah, not just that though, everything, like she was trying too hard. And
Mhm.
it's not her fault, because you know, they shoot what's in the frame and then they edit it, and
Yeah.
there's ways to make it look better than it actually, you know, if you watched it in real life, it looks like people rehearsing stunts, you know. So you
Mhm.
got to make it look real, and none of it ever looked real to me, you know, like it didn't draw me into like these have stakes and things actually happening. This was much better, even though you knew Vader was going to win.
Right. Of course.
Yeah, and I loved I mean, honestly, that's a huge correction to the prequels for me that I've been asking for since Attack of the Clones, is why they didn't set up a practice fight or whatever
Mhm.
between Obi-Wan and Anakin in the second movie to foreshadow what was going to happen in the
Right.
third. what they
Yeah.
would-
Just show a
Yeah.
training session like we just
Yeah.
got.
and illustrate
Yeah.
their differences of their characters, because lightsaber fighting is all about your character. It's not
Mhm.
about, you know, how fast you can twirl your blade or whatever.
Right.
It's about revealing the character. And it may have been, I don't know, I'd have to look at it again, but to me it was pretty satisfying. You know, they showed you the core of both those characters, and they related it to the story as it was happening right now, that
Yeah.
Anakin was going to be overconfident. I think the whole thing of two ships was completely dumb. Just that was weak. And the idea that they could fly out the ceiling and get away, it makes no sense. Just like there's two speeders flying away, and they're somehow just allowed to go dock with the other ship, and the other ship's allowed to leave. It's
Mhm.
just,
That's
it goes
yeah,
against all
that
my
was
knowledge
bizarre.
of Star Wars, you know,
Right,
and the
exactly.
overwhelming military superiority of the Empire. If you can't have guys hit the bright side of a barn, you can at least have the resources to send ships after people, you know, and track them and
Exactly.
tell you where they are and stuff. You know, why do you need a tracker when you can just follow them, you know, or whatever? But
I'll have to admit, I mean, sometimes I take Greedo to task for complaining about plot holes and things like that. but the plot holes did kind of take me out of it this time. And it felt
Mhm.
like they were connected to points where the episode seemed to drag. and I can't quite understand that. But the rest of it, though, the scenes between Vader and Obi-Wan and the Reva and Obi-Wan made the episode for me. So I'll let that other stuff go, but it did bother me more than it normally does this time because it was more egregious. It seemed.
Your personality is not to sweat the logistics and things, and
Yeah.
it occurs to you, you think about it, but it doesn't stick with you. It doesn't stick in your craw. With me, this is how I process information. As I go, how did that work? You know, how that, because, and then I instantly think, why didn't you just smooth that out a little?
Yeah.
90% of the problems with the show, they could have just gone over it again and fixed it. They could have done additional little added information. They retconned some stuff in this episode, if you noticed, that made things make more sense. In the last couple of ones, like right at the beginning, they were kind of explaining things, but they introduced a ton more things that made no sense, like the doors and the hatches and the two ships all of a sudden, and the people are just lounging around. They weren't even doing anything useful. So why weren't they in the ship?
Right, just get ready to leave. Yeah.
If they're going to hold the door, physically hold the door, and therefore they can't leave until. But they weren't doing anything. So there's just things that it's just like I don't understand. It takes me out of it. But that's just my way of processing. I'm not trying to be as negative as it sounds.
I know.
You know?
I know.
No, exactly.
You throw in Vader and Obi-Wan talking, or they're talking with the Reva and him talking through the door with the Force, and I'm back in it. You know, I'm back in the game. Because I'm not a huge canon or Star Wars has been flawed from the very beginning. We all know that. You know, they had a whole movie, Rogue One, to explain a plot hole. So if we're going to do movies for all the plot holes, we're set for eternity.
Exactly.
Star Wars movies. So I'm not, but this is just my way of processing, and I have to mention it. I can't help it. You know, I have to pick at it. I have to try to figure out what the explanations could be. And at the end of the day, you just have to deal with the level of flawedness of what you're looking at. And unfortunately, this series to me is very, very highly flawed. Like every single minute, there's something that I would fix if I could. But anyway, but it doesn't. I'm still enjoying it, but it does. I have to process it. It does affect me. You know.
Yeah.
But I will be the first to say, to me, on first viewing, this was a great episode.
Yeah.
Great episode.
I agree. Yeah, this was
when the credits hit, I was happy. This is the first time.
Yeah, it was definitely upon, like you said, first viewing, my favorite episode right off the bat. Not even close.
Yeah.
I just love, not only, again, plot holes aside, the action scenes, the way the plot moved, I thought was better, more like Star Wars. Everything about it was better. But yeah, I have to agree with Gundark that one of the highlights was the Vader fighting without a saber. That was just incredible, and just some great imagery in that fight.
I think people who have been disliking the Reva character may find some gratification in the fact that she's not on Vader's level. You know, like
right.
I think people felt like she has a lot of unearned powers,
Right, like they were trying to have her overshadow Vader.
Yeah, like, and you have to earn it, or it feels disingenuous. And in this, they showed that they really let her arrogance lead her astray. Her belief in her own abilities and her rage that she kept pushing her forward was actually weaknesses. Just
right.
It wasn't strength after all, and they were playing on a different level than she was. And I think that hopefully will mollify a lot of these people that weren't waiting for the full arc. I don't mind a lot of that stuff. I was more concerned about how awkward the character looked at parts. And that's not the actor's fault. That's the production's fault and the editing and all that. I just expect a higher level of cinematography or stunts or something from Star Wars.
Yeah, well, I think you and I we talked about it before, that it feels like it's got that real TV vibe to it.
It
quality,
does, like
the production quality.
At parts,
at part it has less of a cinematic quality than some other shows have had, which I do agree with. I mean, this episode I thought was better about it, a little bit better about it. It looked a little better. And anytime we get Vader standing on the bridge of a Star Destroyer, that is just like home to me. It's just
that's great.
Yeah, just seeing that image, I'm immediately 12 years old again, watching watching The Empire Strikes Back in the theater. It was just perfect. I love that.
So what do you make of the end with the focus on Luke? We're going back to Tatooine for the final episode.
We're going to finish up on Tatooine, and
I just think it's going to get tiresome possibly because obviously this is Reva.
Yeah.
She's gonna limp back there and try to cause something. I don't know.
Probably try and
what.
kidnap Luke and
Yeah, or bring Anakin there to get one more showdown when she knows she can't win.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I just think it's
Did
gonna be
did
another.
Dale say that he was going to Tatooine in his message? Didn't
He
he
said,
say
if I
that
don't hear
before?
from you soon. Yeah, if I don't hear
Yeah.
from
But
you
the
soon,
but the
I'm going to
important part is
Tatooine.
he said the children.
Like, yeah.
I'll have to guard the children. I'll have to go to Tatooine. So she's clever.
And he mentioned the boy, right? So
Yeah.
she knows there's
Mhm.
a
And
man
he said
child
Owen.
on
He said
Tatooine.
Owen, and she
Yeah,
knows
and he said Owen.
She
Yeah.
knows Owen from the first episode. She picked him out and said, "Got any Jedi on your
Yeah,
farm? We'll
yeah.
take this up later." So she's
Mhm.
going to go try to vent her rage.
Yeah, she's going
I
to put that
guess.
together. Yeah.
And we're just gonna. I think we're gonna have an episode where she's gonna have to purge her negativity of all, her trauma, and that we're gonna have a big trauma meeting.
I did like in this episode, in the previous episode, Greedo made a remark that it seemed like this character was stuck in her childhood,
Yeah.
stuck with that trauma.
Still
of
focus
order
on things that people took away from her as a kid and stuff.
Well, she
like that.
acts like a kid.
Right.
Yeah,
She approaches
acts
everything like an angry kid on the
And
playground.
that's the way Vader treated her, even calling her youngling, and it
Mhm.
was in the ultimate humiliation. It got turned back on her. That's her great weakness, is that she hasn't been able to move beyond that. So
Still powerless. Yeah.
yeah, all of that I think really enhanced her character. I liked her character a lot better in this episode.
Mhm.
But how that
I
will
agree.
play out in the encounter with the children in the next episode, I'm kind of uncertain about. So
Well,
I hope
obviously, her trauma comes from the children being killed and
Yeah.
harmed, and here we are, children at stake again.
Well, now
I don't
I'm
know.
wondering, what does she know about the Jedi who are kept in suspended animation or whatever, the Jedi in Amber at
Right.
the Inquisitor's headquarters, because there was a youngling amongst them that was from her generation.
Mhm.
So does she know about that, or is she unaware? Or
I'm sure
I'm
she probably
wondering-
knows about it, considering it was at the Inquisitor stronghold, is where that is.
It's a secret area, though. I don't know.
True, it is a secret area.
Until
Maybe
she
she's
was
unaware of it.
Until she was promoted, and she was kind of fake promoted.
And we don't know
Yeah.
who is in control of that. Is that something that Vader is running? Is it a program for the Emperor that Vader's running, or is it Vader's own
It has to be
program, or-
him.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we'll find out, hopefully, in the final episode, what's going on with that too.
I mean, he has to know about it. I don't know that he's running it, but he has to know about it and what it's for. You would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's right there in a fortress that he has full access to, unless there's a part of the fortress he's not allowed, which wouldn't make sense.
That wouldn't make any sense.
No, and the Inquisitors wouldn't be employed by the Emperor to do something right under Vader's nose that would get them all killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a good use for them. From
No.
the
And
Emperor's point
one
of view.
other thing about the episode coming up, you think we'll see Qui-Gon?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Yes. His
We
voice,
have
at least.
to. Yeah.
His voice. I think it was voice.
Oh, I think we're going to actually see him. I think he's going to appear as a Force ghost at the end. That's just my wild predict, not based on any spoilers I may have seen. This is literally just my own gut instinct telling me that may even be like the final scene when he gets back to his cave or something. One of the last, almost like an epilogue at the end. It'll have him communicating, trying to reach out to Qui-Gon again. This time he'll actually appear as a Force ghost.
Have you guys heard the news about new series and stuff? I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, I've heard that there's
there
an
was-
unnamed new series going into production right now.
Have you heard
haven't
about that,
anything.
Gundark?
No.
Okay, well, I don't know if I want to bring it up.
I don't know
'cause
any
it's
details.
spoilers.
I know nothing. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's spoilers for some characters in the show. So anyway, so I won't go there. But as far as anyway, I love the ending of this episode, but I don't really want to see what happens next unless they're very careful. And it's just very well done, because it just seems like it's gonna be another kind of hostage situation. There's gonna be a lot of filler. And we all know that Luke's not in true danger.
Right.
It's just going to be on a very special Obi-Wan Kenobi. They're going to talk about their feelings, and if it was Vader going there, if he had caught some kind of clue, I don't know how they would even possibly do that. But if somebody was running to Tatooine and he was chasing them and he didn't even know and Obi-Wan was like, "Oh shit, he's going to get really close," I'd feel more excitement about it. But the fact that it's Reva, whose story is already, I think I've seen the end of this part of it.
Well, Obi-Wan, though, will be bound to return to Luke because that's his prime objective. Is
I just don't think Reva's a threat or anything. I just don't think she's a threat.
But
so
don't you think that if Vader's after Obi-Wan, that maybe there might be I can't even
tell what Vader's doing at this point. Is he after Obi-Wan? Because they just let that shit go.
Yeah.
But how does he even know where Obi-Wan's going next? I mean, how would he know?
Doesn't.
He doesn't. So yeah.
It seems to me he'd go to Alderaan and shake some stuff up there. Like, I know Obi-Wan was here because I know, but they could just bring their political. I don't know. That's what I don't understand. It seems like this whole situation could have been solved with political clout and diplomacy from the very beginning. And, but no, I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're going to see another confrontation with Vader and Obi-Wan. No, I don't see how. Why? I mean, how would they explain that? Is Reva going to call Vader there? See, that could happen. She could call Vader and say, "I have something." Yeah. But why would he even listen to her at this point?
Yeah.
They just trashed and dismissed her as useless. So how without giving him too much information that he would figure out.
That would probably be about the only way she could get back with him.
Well, she could go there knowing Obi-Wan's gonna be there, and then when she's got Obi-Wan inside, I guess she could call Vader.
Yeah.
And say, I know where Obi-Wan is, but that just brings Vader's attention to Tatooine, and
and then how are they going to get out of that?
Yeah, how are they going to explain the next 10 years why they didn't go back?
That's weird. Maybe it won't end on Tatooine. Maybe it'll end before then, but I just have a feeling it'll mostly be about her, and they'll have a confrontation, and somebody, either Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan or somebody, will convince her to let down, put down her saber and let the kid go, or whatever. And then again, how do you explain if she kidnaps Luke? How do you explain a kidnapping in Luke's childhood and all that? That he wouldn't remember that. So
how does he not remember that trauma?
Yeah. It's looking more and more like a Maul, exactly like a Maul Obi-Wan confrontation from Rebels, where they're going to meet away from the kid because they both know what's at stake, and it's the end of a story. But I don't think she's going to die or anything. I think she's going to be let go of her pain finally. Maybe somehow he'll commune with Qui-Gon, who will show her the spirits of the Jedi younglings, that they're safe or something.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, maybe Qui-Gon went in and gathered their souls, and because they were so heinously murdered, and made sure they were protected.
So let's look at our ratings. What are we rating this episode? I'll give it an 8.
I'm gonna go an 8 as well.
I have to go 7.5 right now.
I knew
because
I can't possibly agree with both of them.
No, I can't.
They like things way more than I do.
No, I can't. No, I can't.
Let me rid myself of your ridicule.
If we said 9, he'd have said 8.
I find your lack of understanding of numbers disturbing. All right, it's got a 7 then, just because of your bitching and moaning.
Good. Can I talk you into a 6?
I've got like a 4, 5, and 7, and I think that's about right. Because it's as a standalone episode, it deserves at least a 7. Yeah, but as part of a series, I just feel like all these holes, like Swiss cheese, bring the whole thing down quite a bit, and the production value a little bit. And there was some issues there in this show, in this episode. And
agreed.
Yeah, but it was cool. Yeah. I would rather have seen all the rebels just get crushed by Vader's troops. Freaking crushed. What did you guys think about?
Added some gravitas to it.
Yeah, and I mean they're just the baddest. They're not average stormtroopers.
Well, they had some brutal stuff, and Tala getting killed and all that. But
that was what I was going to bring up. What did you guys think about losing that character and the way it happened and everything? You have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I thought it was well done the way they did it. And we finally, like you said, got to see a thermal detonator used the way it's always been threatened to be used.
Yeah.
Where you're dying anyway, so you just, do a suicide mission with it.
I thought the droid had a pretty poignant ending. I like.
Yeah, I thought so too, where he was trying to block the
Yeah.
blaster bolts from her by laying on top of her.
Where she got that thermal detonator, I'm not sure. She can carry around.
I just lost my internet connection again. There's something about that particular scene.
Yeah, well, that's when we
cursed
lost
my
it last
internet.
time.
You were describing it and I didn't get to see it. What happened with the robot? All I saw is that it looked like she was injured and the robot was hanging over right before she pulled out the detonator. What actually happened?
That's basically it. It's like, you know,
Mm.
he got shot and then he turned after she had been gut shot, basically. She was down and then he literally just kind of
Oh, he
climbed
was
over,
trying to
kind of
protect her.
protect a
But
shield around her.
he did pull his head was actually a helmet. And it was Wrecker from Bad Batch. And he said, "I've always loved you."
Where's Omega?
Where's Omega? Tell Omega, and then they blew up.
No, it was Gregor, not Wrecker.
It was Gregor.
Gregor.
The greatest clone of them all, Gregor.
I thought about you, Gundark, because I watched that episode a couple of nights ago.
Where Gregor died.
From Clone Wars, where they discovered Gregor.
Heartbreak, Gregor.
Greatest clone ever. He is.
Yeah.
What was your quote? He is not to be surpassed.
Yep, he cannot be surpassed.
That's why we need to have a big fight between him and Fives for the ultimate clone.
The clone smackdown.
How many Fives does it take to change a light bulb, eh? No, I liked that scene, but the awkwardness of it detracted from it. Like the awkwardness of the pacing of the battle scenes, and the fact that it's kind of like when they show a corridor and they show Leia running down it, and they show a corridor, they show Leia running down it, and they just show a corridor, and you don't know what corridor you're in, you don't know what progress you're making, and you suspect it's the same exact corridor, and you just do it over and over again, with some dirt slightly shuffled around, and it felt like that. Like I didn't know the base, and I thought they showed this door, and I thought, oh great, another giant door like that. And they walk up to it, and the door is
it's
tiny.
like really small.
It's for Ewoks.
It's for Ewoks.
It's like that scene from what's the from the Rock documentary where they bring down Stonehenge, and it's
oh, Spinal Tap, yeah.
We had a door that was in danger of Ewoks trampling upon,
crushed by an Ewok.
But no, there's just certain things that still, it wasn't as bad as that, like the scene where Obi-Wan ran away and then ran away again or whatever. But it was still there's an art to action.
Yeah.
You know, to editing, directing, action stuff. And I'm not gonna sit here and say I could do it any better, because obviously I can't. But as a viewer, I would enjoy the show so much more if that stuff was slicker,
got ironed out.
You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is odd because Deborah Chow directed some of the best action sequences in the Mandalorian series.
And now for
so
some
it's
reason,
making me wonder if it's more to do with the editing. I just wonder.
I just feel like this show has had a ton of chaos behind the scenes or something.
Yeah,
like they
that's
really,
what it feels like.
They just filmed a bunch of stuff saying, in case we go this way, film this pickup scene, in case we go this way. And then it was up to the editors to really make it into a cohesive story when it makes no sense. And then they add this scene. That's what I was talking about when you add scenes where Bale says, I know I said no communication, but like when he had his daughter the first time, he should have contacted him right then.
Yeah.
Like, you know, on the Neon Planet or whatever, when they got on that shuttle, that they should have intercepted that ship on the way and taken her right off of it. There was no reason for the whole walkabout on the other planet with the laser gate and all that.
Right.
I mean, I understand no communication, but sometimes you got to break that rule and like, here she is. Plus, the Empire knows about me and her already in our connection.
Yeah.
So maybe you better hire some more guards or go into hiding or do something. You know, pull in your favors in the Senate, because they could come for you. You know, I always feel like though that Vader's just and the Empire's just kind of toying with Alderaan, like, oh, let them do their thing, you know, until they become a real nuisance, and then they
It's not like they can do anything anyway at the end. Yeah.
No, it's obvious Bale's way too weak to pull off any kind of. His daughter was always going to be the real threat. But anyway, so I think we've got to see a scene next time where they get Leia back home, unless he runs with her straight over to Tatooine, and that would be really weird.
That would be weird.
Yeah, the kids together. But if they could, that could be why Bale said I'm going there. Is I'll bring Leia to the father there.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah.
Oh my God. Adventures in Babysitting. This show needed to be called.
Yeah, where would the would-be Jedi? I'm not a babysitter.
Yeah.
And then he just told him to go and watch out.
Exactly.
You are now.
Who's the new babysitter you hired? Her name's Reva. And yeah, she's kind of emo and she wears dark clothes and stuff, but I think she's okay.
She's
She
kind of
listens.
emo.
She listens to some rage metal, but and it's like, no, the new babysitter was not okay.
Oh, that's funny. Any final thoughts
Old
before we wrap up?
man. You are pretty old.
I feel nervous about the finale,
Mhm.
but I'm also looking forward to it. But I really don't know where they're going to go in a way that will be satisfactory. So, but I did really enjoy this episode. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I did too.
It will involve a door and people on both sides. And it will evolve. You can just get on board the ship and somehow shove everybody into one seat like they did in the snowspeeder. They shoved 3 people into the passenger seat of a snowspeeder. They edited that scene out. I really wanted to see that. Right? It's like, no, you go over here. No, you here. Yeah, no, your foot is here. Remember to buckle up. Safety first.
Oh,
But no, I won't let my fear for the next episode take away from the fact that they delivered a good episode here.
agreed.
So,
Yeah, they
I'm gonna
definitely
just
did.
enjoy this one for what I got, even though I've spent a ton of time nitpicking it.
Right.
This, to me, this is, instead of being, for this whole series so far, I thought this might be at its best a victory lap for the prequels and elevate the prequels up to where people want them to be finally, and their nostalgia glasses. They're looking back. They're looking and laughing now with the prequels and all the memes and stuff instead of at the prequels.
Yeah.
And they're showing a lot more fondness for them. You aren't instantly, your head isn't taken off if for being stupid if you claim you like the prequels.
Yeah.
But I feel like that could have been the case here, and it's not. But I do feel like there's a chance to elevate it to good comic book status.
Mm-hmm.
Like this seems like it could have been a good comic book series plot and everything, which is plenty good, but it's still way below what I was expecting or hoping.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say expecting because I had no expectations, but if we get a solid ending, I think you got to look at it as like we got some good episodes and some really bad ones, and move on. Edit it. Somebody edit it. Do a phantom edit.
Move
make it
along
into
to
a really
the
good
phantom
one.
edit.
Yeah, there's a good thing lurking in there, and all the mistakes somewhere. But never hire that continuity person again. And I hate to pick on anyone.
Right.
Maybe they had a mental breakdown just trying to keep up with all the things that Disney was doing.
Probably.
They said, forget it. I'm going to give you everything you asked for. Here, stick everything.
All right. Well, so we got one more episode. So hopefully, schedule's allowing, we'll be back next week to react to that and wrap up everything.
I might be busy playing Goat Simulator 3, whatever that is.
Oh yeah. Well, hashtag priorities.
Yeah, I just saw this on here. Goat Simulator 3. What? There were two prior Goat Simulators. I think this is in man to improve them to version 3.
That's awesome.
No, it's great that we can watch this together, huh?
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Agreed. It's always better. For better or worse, it's better.
I'm glad to finally have something that I feel like is pretty good to say about it. Thank you, Disney and Lucasfilm, because I was getting scared of what I was going to say about this in the end, because there's a lot of violent fan clashes going on the internet.
Oh yeah.
I've been bullied relentlessly already on the internet just for expressing honest opinions, because I'm not trying to bash anyone anywhere. Our philosophy is always support the actors,
right?
Support
the filmmakers,
support Star Wars as a whole, and but be honest, about things because criticism does have a purpose, and it isn't hate.
Yeah,
it is not hate. It is about trying to figure out where we stand and make the next thing better. Right. And the people that say just love that we have new content. Why don't you just shut up and love that we have new content? Well, because look at what it could be doing with it. if they took some of this criticism, constructive criticism to heart and used it to make things better. We shouldn't be sliding downhill,
Right.
with standards. And even if you have a $10 budget, if you write a good conversation, it's compelling to watch, I mean, and so everybody wants to blame writers, and I don't know how to explain that either. I blame them a lot too, but it's about giving them the time and everything to do it right. And sometimes I feel like this stuff is on a production treadmill, or something, and the time isn't there, which is mind-boggling, because personally we've each spent about $40 million a piece on Star Wars, our
Exactly.
$1 million a year easily. So,
Yeah.
so anyway.
All right.
But I'm just
cool.
glad we can see it together, and let's make sure we watch the next one together if we can.
Yeah,
pull it
yeah,
off.
definitely.
Yes.
And I also heard the news today they're going to be showing this in Cineplex theaters, the whole thing.
Oh, really? The whole series?
Yeah, it's going to be like 5.5 hours long,
Wow.
super cut or whatever.
Okay.
And so if anybody has those theaters nearby, check that out. I thought about skipping these last two and just going for the last 2 hours in the movie theater if they have it around here, just to experience it that way. But nah. I'd rather see it with you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and last thought, wasn't
Yeah.
Ewan great in this episode?
Oh, I thought so.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
He was
Wonderful.
phenomenal in this episode.
It just felt like a weight was lifted off of it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't smiling or anything, but he was looking people in the eye. He wasn't looking at the ground.
Yeah.
And once he felt a little more control of the situation and some confidence, I felt like that Obi-Wan in this show isn't so much PTSD or experiencing trauma as he is just total lack of confidence.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a guy with zero confidence.
He's just been beaten.
He's even saying, I may not be the right guy.
Yeah.
That's a person and then when he's trying to do stuff with the Force and he can't, he just, they haven't explained why. Why does he misfire with the Force? Did it start out on purpose and then it got out of control? Or is it something almost because of his lack of confidence, it's feeding on it? Or does he feel like he's experiencing a backlash from the Force because of what happened? Like the will of the Force is, they would say the Force is with you. What if it isn't?
Right.
I mean, that implies there's times where it might not be. And anyway, it was good to see him get his mojo back as far as interacting with people and looking straight at the camera. And he was just really good. I was super impressed.
No, you're right. It's like a sense of confidence. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like we were seeing the character for the first time in this.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
That's all.
Well, I need to run. So that was fun.
Hey, what's going on?
What is it?
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
This isn't going to be easy.
Good luck.
We must be cautious.
Sing yum no. Sing yum no. Come on, sing yum no. Singing yum no. Yum no. Singing yum no. At the Cantina Club.
And I think it would link the account.
I just saw the subject line.
What was it? Okay.
Well, see, you can see what I think of it too. I just want to try it.
Oh, that's perfect.
Well.